have a philosophy regarding the way a broadcast should be done. My job is to report the game accurately. But the main thing is to report it and not to editorialize. To be objective for both teams and to be enthusiastic, honestly, for Tennessee. But basically, it is to report what goes on the way you should read it on the front page and not in somebody's column.
As Tennessee had the comeback of comebacks on the final Saturday afternoon, the Vols snatched a tie from defeat to battle to a 21-21 deadlock with Vanderbilt on a rainy afternoon at Nashville.
A lot of little boys would like to grow up to be like John Ward, Tennessee's #1 sportscaster and the voice of the Tennessee Vols. He's on radio and television, and he gets to go to every UT football and basketball game free. But before you future sportscasters begin practicing your play-by-plays, you should know about that one particular day each year when the voice of the Vols broadcasts on both radio and television with both football and basketball.
Vanderbilt comes into this game.
November 30th was such a day. In one 14-hour period, he broadcast an out-of-town football game, a night basketball game at home, a TV show at midnight, and taped radio interviews in between.
Number 44, Lee is number 8. Good pursuit from Tennessee's Page and Spive, a loss of 3 at his third and 11 at the 23.
This is how he did it.
Scottsville, Kentucky. That's right, Scottsville, Kentucky.
John Ward's first and only full meal of the day came at 7 a.m. at his Nashville motel. Before breakfasting, he did warm-up exercises and took a brisk walk. For this particular Saturday, John had already made advanced preparations, so this gave him time to chat with fans who recognize him everywhere in the state.
I think anybody would be dishonest if they didn't say they like being known. I hope in a favorable way, but even if not, anybody's got ego and they like to be recognized. There are times when, in all honesty, that you wish that you weren't. Everybody's hammy in this business, I guess, or everybody is. And that's important. That really is important. That's an important part of it, really, to me. And to get letters from people who, a lot of people write in and say they enjoy the broadcast. A lot of people write in and say they don't enjoy certain things. A lot of people write in and say you're terrible. And a lot of people write unsigned letters. But all the letters, except those kind, really, which you sort of disregard, I do. But the ones where they really are trying to help with criticism or whatever, that means a lot to somebody. It does to me.
At 9 a.m., John drove to Dudley Field at Vanderbilt with his TV, radio, and photographic crews. As the bandy band practiced, John and his crews began unloading. They had arrived too early. John waited in the rain for the press box to open. Once inside, he and radio engineer Bob Williams began technical preparations for the UT Vandy football broadcast, now 3 hours away. John had already done his homework. He reads 6 different out-of-town newspapers a week, as well as the Knoxville newspapers. Meanwhile, outside, an hour before game time, John went down to the wet field for a little ritual he has established with Nashville newspaperman F.M. Williams.
I believe in the Clemson game. I know it was the Clemson game that Tennessee football was, we'd had a rough opening season and people were upset and all that. So for what it meant, I was going down to shake Battle's hand before the game. And as I walked on the field, F.M. Williams was there for just the same thing. So we both went out and we shook his hand. And Tennessee won the game 29-28. So in Nashville, it was pouring down rain. Nobody in his right mind would be out there trying to shake hands with somebody. but we were there to go through the ritual.
As the rains came, John sought shelter under the stadium with business manager Gus Manning. When Coach Battle arrived, they were surrounded by fans and friends.
Too bad. Oh, it's just wet. It is something to, it's something for somebody to come and ask for an autograph, perhaps particularly little kids. I mean, 3 and 4 and 5 years old who come up, and you know that it is a major thing for them, because I would have been the same way, to go up and ask somebody they don't know to sign an autograph, and there's no way that you can tell them that it means more to you that they've got, that they would do it. But to them, it's a big deal. I know kids take it home, put it on their wall and things like that, so, you know.
The ritual completed, John returned to the press box, and promptly at 12:45, he and colorman Bill Anderson were on the Vol Football Network.
It's football time in Tennessee. Good afternoon, everybody.
Tennessee and Vanderbilt playing at Nashville, Tennessee this afternoon. And working with me again today is the analyst on our Vol Network radio broadcast, Bill Anderson, who back in 1955 was the hero of the Tennessee-Vanderbilt game. Do you remember that one, Bill?
Very well, John, but that's been a long time ago.
You were slender and you were very sinewy in those days, still very sinewy.
And slender.
Tell us a little bit about this Vanderbilt team today. What Vol fans can really anticipate from Vanderbilt?
Well, I think you're going to see Vanderbilt putting the ball up in the air a lot, John. They don't have the people.
During a broadcast, John is assisted by a producer and 2 spotters. John believes in reporting fairly and accurately about both teams in a contest without bias.
People who listen to Tennessee football, for the most part, there are some new listeners every week that you have to think about that you want to be fair with. But for the most part, they tune in, they listen to Tennessee football, they know it's a Tennessee announcer. And most of the people who listen are Tennessee fans. There are some who aren't. But by and large, they know it's a Tennessee announcer. So, by nature, I mean, even if you were completely unbiased the other way, unless you just went to the ridiculous level, they're going to think you're biased, because this is the Tennessee network, and, you know, there's no way to convince them that you aren't. But I think when it gets to being objective is that doesn't, I don't think, I've never said this, I've never said we have the football, or we have the basketball, or we have the ball. Never said, because that's wrong, I think. Some people say it. But at the same time, if the player on the other team makes a good play that requires some kind of comment editorially, then I've made it, and always will.
Downfield across the middle, pass complete. Jesse Mathers makes the catch, is immediately decked by Jimmy Watts, but it's
anybody in a business that wears any kind of creative ability in there, you have a tendency to always try to do it different. You can't, I don't believe you can get in a rut and do every game the same way, because you have to keep trying to improve. And that means sometimes you change and do things worse. But I think if you didn't at least try to change, it'd be boring to begin with.
5-man front. Holloway back looking to throw. Nobody open. He will run the ball, and he'll get 6 yards. Moving forward, tackled by middle guard Tom Galviers.
Immediately following the game, John was on the team bus headed for the airport. On the chartered flight back to Knoxville, he began planning a replay of the game for the Bill Battle TV show with producer Ernie Robertson. At 7 p.m., the team flight landed, and John hit the pavement running. He had 45 minutes to drive to Stokely Fieldhouse in the basketball game between Tennessee and Wisconsin. He made it. At 7:45, John was back on radio, this time on the Vol Basketball Network.
I think preparation is the key in anything. In doing a film, doing the way a TV show is best, really is being thoroughly prepared before you go there as to what you're going to have. Then, when the 2 or 3 unexpected things happen, strictly by being prepared, the 2 or 3 unexpected things, you can showcase them more because they stand out in your mind. If everything was unexpected, then what really is unexpected wouldn't be. And that's why like you say, if you go to a real high level. If, for example, in basketball, if King or Grunfeld make some unbelievable, I know they're going to do a great job, but when they really do something unbelievable, then that's when the level goes way up.
At 10 p.m., following the Vols' victory, John commandeered a typewriter to finalize the script for the Battle TV show to be videotaped 2 hours later at a local TV station across town.
Well, preparing for the Battle show is probably less difficult than for preparing for the game for two reasons. One, on the Battle show we have real experienced professional people involved in various facets of putting it together. So it's not as much an individual effort, let's say. But the main thing is that in the Battle show you have hindsight, and on the radio network it's all what I call educated foresight. On TV, the hardest thing on the Battle show is not just doing it the same way every week. So you have to come up with new things. Sometimes they're lousy. But I think you have to have new things every week, really.
Shortly after midnight on Sunday morning, the videotapes for the Bill Battle show were ready to roll. The program must be completed by 3 a.m. in order for the TV stations carrying the show to receive the tapes for showings at various times Sunday.
Sadler, slow motion. Yeah, that's all right. If we work those cameras that close, that's okay. I can see that. Yeah, we played that. That's a good play. Okay, everybody, wake up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tennessee football 1974. It started with a tie, it ended with a tie. In between, a lot of excitement. Coach Bill Battle, this one playing it right down close to the wire.
About as close as you can get. When you come back with 7 seconds left on the clock to tie it, that's about as close a football game as you can get. I guess we got a little bit...
After the taping, John detained Coach Battle for a short radio interview to be aired later in the week. When they finished, it was nearly dawn. Why does he do it?
The thing that I like best about broadcasting probably would be, and this, I mean, this sincerely sounds corny again, you sort of become cynical. The thing would be that possibly you are communicating with people in a way that adds to their enjoyment and their relation to the University of Tennessee. And that's really why I do it. I'm sincere. I mean, I make a few bucks, but the main thing is that when you go to Union City, Tennessee, or when you go to Pulaski, Tennessee, or Nashville, or Tuscaloosa, or when you go somewhere like St. Petersburg, Florida, and somebody comes up to you, or Ann Arbor, Michigan. We had a guy come up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, who listens to every Tennessee basketball game in Detroit. How? I don't know. He says he does. He may get it on the phone. I don't know. But when he does that, and you know that suddenly you've got the pressure of being the link, that's a lot of responsibility and a lot of challenge, and that's the best part of it.
Here's a draw play that got us. There's Ernie Ward going.
On Saturdays, John Ward belongs to the thousands of Tennessee sports fans. But on Sundays, he belongs to me. I'm the voice behind the voice. I'm Mrs. John Ward.